Dahlia Harris, welcome to Profile.
Thank you very much.
So the thing about you now is that there is no one title for you. So I'm just going to list some.
Oh my God.
It says actress, public relations consultant. I was writing up all of them and I saw public relations consultant as well. And I was like, oh yes. Director, producer, writer, academic. And we'll talk a little bit about that. TV host, comedian, broadcaster, pageant franchise holder. Your newest endeavor, you can't stop run out of work. What has made you involved in all of these different kind of activities?
And the funny thing about it, Archie, is I tell people all of the activities seem to happen per chance. Like I never decided that I was going to be on TV or I was going to be an actress or I was going to be a franchise holder. It just seemed like universe just evolved into putting me into places that I needed to be. But I'll say this though, that I try to live my life in a way that prepares me for opportunities. So when one comes, I never say no. Yeah, I never say no. So I think growing up humble, growing up being satisfied with what we had as children. I can recall one of the fondest nights for me and my sisters was eating cheese tricks and drinking ice water and giving lots of jokes and going to bed. And so it's always just being grateful for where I am and what I am able to do.
People, there is one line about Dahlia Harris on the internet talking about where you grew up. One, and I'm not even sure that is correct, it's on Wikipedia, but you grew up in St. John's Road in Spanish Town.
St. John's Road in Spanish Town. Now, when I grew up there, we said John's Road because there was maybe nothing saintly about it because I grew up in the 70s and 80s. And, you know, during that time, I've just a very highly polarized community in terms of politics, but also a community that was just so rich with talent and culture. Like I went to school with Trilla U, you know, and at the time we didn't see ourselves as being Jamaican cultural icons or legends. But I think one of the things that we grew up knowing was that we cared about each other. We would look out for each other. You know, if you're walking home from school, the older ones would make sure that they would look out for the smaller ones. So there was some violence at times, you know, we have to hide under the bed and really, really volatile moments, but some really happy moments. So it gave us, I believe, a vision of the world, the good and the bad, but the possibilities that existed.
And part of that was your mother herself and the sort of role that she had in ensuring that you were all very focused on doing all of these different kinds of things. Let's talk a little bit about
Listen, my mother never played in the Archie, so I was the wash belly for her. So when it was time, I wanted to go to school so bad because all my sisters were going to school and she said, you can't go to school until you know how to read and write. So my grandmother took it upon herself.
Which was important to her because she's a teacher.
Yeah. She said, me now come to school, come idle and waste time. You have to read and write. So my grandmother would take the book each day, but while my grandmother was thinking just teach me how to read, I was swatting the lines. So my mother come now and I said, I can read. And she said, go and get the book. But I turned the book upside down. But I'm spinning the pages and I'm reading because of what I remember, but I didn't remember a thing. But I think she felt I was so determined that, you know what, let me dress her up and carry her, go to school. So I went to school just very young, but always that. When we got to grade 3, my sister Gail was taking common entrance.
Yes.
And she said, you have to wait for Gail, but you have to go into the lessons class and wait. And if you're in there, you have to do the lessons in the class. So we did that. So I skipped grade 4 and 5 because that was a grade 6 prep class. And when the time came for the test, I passed the test. So I was in grade 6 at 8. But she wouldn't let me take the common entrance because she said I'm too young.
You should be in grade 6 at 12.
So I spent like 3 years in grade 6 until she felt it was time for me to take it. But during that time, you know, if a teacher them come to school, I go teach the class. So I think it taught me responsibility.
Yes.
My godmother was at the school. She said, you know, you can use she tried to spot me, you can use the teacher's bathroom. One day I was in there, my mother come in and my mother said, hello, I don't know of this new teacher at the school. When did you arrive? And I was like, huh? And she said, no, but you must be a teacher because only teachers use this bathroom, or else you couldn't be in here. So I have to walk me like go back to where everybody else was using the bathroom. So
Yes.
she taught us just that kind of discipline, being respectful to everyone.
The plan at the start, if you were to call it a plan as such, because you were very young, was not to become, had nothing to do with television.
No.
It was about teaching.
What? When I was in Festival Queen, the national finals, Miss St. Catherine, and my ambition is to become a senior lecturer. I didn't even know what it meant. But just seeing my mom as an educator,
Yes.
and just being around other educators, I could see the difference that they could make. She is a reading specialist, so she also taught Jamal. And so I could see adults have their lives transformed because they were now able to read. I could see young children who had behavioral issues, who were struggling, who people told that they would never become anything, sit on my veranda with my mother and have her just coax them into becoming better people through learning.
And she also she also got you guys very involved, you and your sisters and your brother as well, very involved in activities outside of school, in particular in church.
Listen, church was my second yard. I used to clean church. Church was fun to me, yes. So, and that's where a lot of my performing arts balance happened, because at Friendship Primary School, big school, if you know the music or dance or speech, Girl Guides, 4-H, netball, volleyball, what were you doing? You have to do something. So we were all involved in that. When the costumes were being sewn for festival, they would be at my house because my mother used to sew. We sewed our uniforms to go to school. So it just seemed to me like it was a natural part of life. Like everybody did it in my head. Everybody had a talent. And you just went and you just, explored that talent. And then at church, we did a lot of drama and music. So it was just always something that I did.
So it's interesting from that kind of perspective to see you come full circle and be very involved in that area. But before you would get there, you also ended up doing broadcasting. And I want to get to that, but we have to take a break now on Profile. My guess is, she has so many titles: playwright, actress, academic, comedian, broadcaster, Dahlia Harris. We're back with you on the other side of these messages.